Okay, hello. I'm in the top chat, and let me see here. Okay, so here is a rec. All right, let's see. Let me go back to. Gotta go into YouTube. Sorry, guys. Let me go to YouTube. YouTube Studio. All right. So I don't know how many of you watched the Nancy Brophy. I don't know how many of you heard me during the walk, but today the testimony was a lot of the students or colleagues that came up there, very, very emotional testimony. And just in case you think I'm wearing the same thing I wore last night, I just told Scooter, I'm like, they're going to think I'm wearing the same thing I wore last night. Should I go change into something else? It's very similar. It's like those. I want to say Pottery Barn Pioneer Woman shirts that I have so many of. Yeah, I have a few like that are like this. Sorry. If you want me to go change, I can go change before. But they're going to talk about it anyway, so let them talk about it. Let's see. Hi, Elizabeth T. Hi, Nicole Griffith. Hi, Beth Baker. Is this a good program? Beth? We are the best community on YouTube, the best YouTube channel that you'll ever be at, and you are definitely in a good program, and you're in a good community. Hi, John Masaki. Hi, Nicole Griffith. Let's see, LMNW, Kevin Leonard, and Tina Osborne, Sherry Shirley, LMNW. I got you before. Okay, and we're going to talk about this trial. Now, real quick, in case you've been under a rock and you missed yesterday, hi, Paint It Black. I haven't seen you in the longest time. Good to see you. I don't know why you retracted your message. Flower Girl Phillips, Kubi, Farmhouse Wife, Nana Patty, Annie B. Annie B, I got your message that you got the napkins. Very glad to hear that. Thank you for letting me know. Chris Ree. Okay, Lady Di, hi, I asked for you last night. Linda Uribe, hello there. Robin Lane. Okay, so I think I've got almost everybody, but so this woman, she writes these kind of romance novels, but they're usually about relationships gone wrong. In fact, she has like the wrong series, the wrong cop, the wrong husband. She wrote an article back in 2011, how to murder your husband. We went through that last night, and we also went through it. If you look in the playlist, there's a video that we did 2 years ago almost, where we went through this case like crazy. Anyway, between the pandemic and legal issues, this trial has been held up. Well, this is day 2. Hi, Dawn Dowry, how are you? You found me through searching for more true crime channels. True crime chat, enjoy your content. Oh. Hi. Okay. Good to see you. Thank you. Welcome. So she then also works for an insurance, as an insurance agent, right? And she takes out a lot of life insurance policies on her husband to the tune of almost $1.5 million. And then if she sold the house, the equity she had in the house was like over $300,000. So put it all together, and she would have collected a nice tidy sum of $1.5 million. So that's her motive. The prosecution is saying because they were in financial distress. Okay, and many times they couldn't pay their mortgage, but they were paying the insurance policies that she sold herself, multiple ones on her husband. Now, what is it? Okay, I thought Jimmy's calling me. Never mind. So he is an instructor at the Culinary Institute in Oregon, and that's now defunct. But anyway, he goes into work that morning, and he's filling up water and ice buckets at the sink. His back is towards the door. Now what he did is he disarmed the alarm, and he lifted up this like garage door thing, and that's how prosecutors say she entered. So she shoots him allegedly in the back. He falls to the floor, is laying on the floor face up. She shoots him again close range in the chest. And then she leaves. Now, there's no footage because there's no cameras in this Culinary Institute, none. So the cameras didn't pick her up at all. What happened was there are some cameras on other businesses that saw her minivan, well, a minivan that was very similar to hers, going one direction, the other direction, okay? So they have that. And she then went home. She was alerted by people that there had been a situation at the Culinary Institute, but she said she didn't want to go because it was probably going to be teeming with police and everything. She eventually goes and talks to investigators, telling them that she had been home all day, okay? And that she had seen her husband go take a shower and this and that. The students that went in for the day and colleagues, the one colleague that testified the first day was in the bathroom. And students went in to discover him. They didn't know what was happening, okay? They thought his ribs were broken. They knew he was bleeding. Well, they're performing CPR on the guy. He's dead, okay? Because it is already like a half an hour that he's been lying there bleeding out. Then they realize that he's been shot. The colleague comes, grabs his hands, kneels, and she knows he's gone. He's dead. He's deceased. She tells them, ease up on the CPR, he's gone. And then the paramedics come in because one of the students was on the phone with 911, and you heard that at the trial. Now today was more people from the Culinary Institute coming in, very emotional on the stand, explaining what was going on. He was a very, very beloved instructor, and he was funny, and you saw that in things that they wrote in memoriam. And the reason that the prosecution is really driving this home with these people is they want to explain what a loss, of life this is, and senseless, right? Because it's allegedly the wife. Now, on the first day, the judge also threw out that there would be any mention of that How to Murder Your Husband article, because it was written in 2011, and it would, they felt biased the jury, and the judge said it couldn't be mentioned. So that's out of there, okay? Anyway, they do, I imagine, going to be calling the neighbors, because the neighbor had said, she told them that the police think I'm a suspect, blah, 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 blah. But let's see what's going on. Well, let's recap what we have for today here. Whew. So the students say that it was unusual to find the entrance locked. It was Saturday, June 2nd of 2018. Started off as a typical day, and the four former Oregon Culinary Institute students who testified in court today on Tuesday said that the first indication that something was wrong was the fact that the student entrance door to the school was locked. Most of the former students who testified said this was unusual. They said that Chef Nancy Brophy usually unlocked it before the students arrived on campus, so that's the first tip-off something's wrong. And they said it was unusual because it was a live fire day, and that's a day when they were asked to simulate a live restaurant by taking and fulfilling orders Chef Brophy would place with them. It was a day comparable to a final exam, and several students arrived early to prepare. Eventually, the other instructor who was teaching that day, Chef Dorothy Sadie Damon, and that's the woman that was in the bathroom, came outside and realized the students had been waiting at the door. She went to get her keys and let them into the building. Clorinda Perez had gone to a nearby Starbucks for a coffee after seeing her classmates waiting outside the locked door. She said she returned just as students were filing into the building. And Clorinda went in to fill her water bottle, but she saw the water jug that Chef Brophy usually filled before students arrived was empty. another unusual occurrence. And she went into the kitchen closest to the water jug, kitchen 1, found the sink running, and she found Chef Brophy on the floor. She checked to see if she could get a response from him. When she received none, she ran to the doorway and yelled for someone to call 911. At the time, Perez was working as a medical assistant. She knew CPR, so she immediately started chest compressions. And when she started, there was no blood visible, which I find this hard, that there's no blood visible when he was shot first in the back, collapses on the floor, and then is shot close range in the chest. I don't understand how there's no blood visible. I don't get it. Melissa Flitz, a pastry student at OCI at the time, said that she assumed that he just had a heart attack, maybe a stroke. Oh, wait, it wants me to breathe. Okay. As she continued compression, she began to notice blood, and his chest was really squishy. She explained between sobs as she testified, and I thought I had broken a rib, because that's very common. See, my daughter, when she saved that man that had a heart attack, she was so afraid she broke his ribs. And I remember it coming right out and asking him when she had the award, got the award at the fire station. And he said, no, I had no broken ribs. But she said about the chest being like squishy, like, yeah. Okay. So she had thought she had broken a rib as she continued to do compressions. And I remember, if you listen to the 911 call, she is talking about the broken rib. She said, my hands started getting full of blood. She had no idea that Chef Brody had been shot. She thought she caused an open rib fracture. So now this poor girl is thinking that, oh my gosh, not only broke his rib, it's coming through and it's bleeding out because of it. But she continued the compressions because she'd been taught to not stop even if she'd broken a bone. Eventually she stopped and the EMTs and the paramedics arrived. Prosecution then called Craig Galt to the witness stand. He works for the Portland Fire and Rescue. And the day of Chef Brophy's murder, he was a lieutenant paramedic in the Emergency Operations Division. He and his team were the first emergency personnel to arrive at the scene. He said they knew they were responding to an unconscious, unresponsive patient, and they knew CPR was being performed. He said when they cut Chef Brophy's shirt open to apply the first patches for defibrillation, a firefighter noticed a scratch on his chest. It was just a small surface wound with a little splotch of blood, which is common sometimes with penetrating wounds. As they go through the skin, it will close back up on them. Galt didn't realize that they had walked into a crime scene until he moved one of Chef Brophy's arms to place a tourniquet, and he saw a spent bullet shell casing underneath it. At that point, Galt realized that the cause of Chef Brophy's condition was likely penetrating trauma, which paramedics cannot resuscitate in the field, and that's when they stopped their medical treatment. Another firefighter had found a second shell casing and placed it on a table alongside Chef Brophy's glasses and watch. Galt said he and every member of his team was wearing gloves at the time, and they would not have left fingerprints on any of the evidence. Okay, so this is something that was put through as evidence here, a shell casing right there. So the prosecutors displayed a photo of a shell casing found at the scene of Daniel Brophy's murder. Okay, so the shell casings were tested. The fire crew, hold on one second. Where are we? Now realizing they had a crime scene on their hands, Galt said he called in a code 3 to get police officers to the scene as soon as possible. In his call, he explained there were a lot of people around and he wasn't sure if the shooter was still in the building. The fire crew at the scene placed the building in a sort of a lockdown before the police arrived. The final person to testify today, Tuesday, was Tina Willard. She's a retired Portland Police Bureau criminalist. And she retired December 2018, which would have been that December right after the murders on June 2nd. And she was working the night that Chef Brody was murdered. She said a detective asked her to process the 2 shell casings found at the scene for fingerprints. She described to the court the process by which she processes the shell casing for prints. In this case, she placed them in a cyanocrylate fuming chamber. In the chamber, superglue is heated, and it releases fumes that adhere to things that fingers release, like sebaceous oils, proteins, lotions, or food residue. Fingerprints can leave behind what's known as a ridge detail. In her 14 years working as a criminalist, Willard says she's never found an identifiable print on a bullet shell casing, and that casings found near Chef Brody were no different. In the past, she found ridge detail, but it has never been enough to identify a print. She said she felt the process is still worth attempting because you never know if some results could lead to a suspect or prove someone was not connected to a crime. She said wearing gloves would be an effective way to prevent any fingerprints from appearing on shell casings when someone loads a gun magazine. She did not find any patterns of glove fibers or on the casings found at the crime scene. And she said at the time it was not standard protocol to test items like shell casings for touch DNA. And that was the end of day 2. So, it'll move into day 3 tomorrow. And let's see, that should be, see if we know who's going to go on tomorrow. I wonder if she's going to testify, is what I wonder. Let's see here. So Miranda Bernhardt was the first former student of Diane Brophy's to testify. He was a really great instructor. He was all about nature and foraging, and we would talk about gardening a lot. Bernhardt recalled that when she arrived at the school at 7:30, there was one other student in the parking lot who told her the student entrance was locked. She said it wasn't entirely uncommon for Dan to forget to unlock the door. Shortly after being let into the building by another instructor, she recalled another student, Clorinda Perez, calling for someone to call 911. Bernhardt went to where Perez was and saw Chef Brophy on the ground. I told her she needed to start chest compressions. One of my classmates was coming through the building, and I sort of pushed him out and asked him not to go in there. When the defense cross-examined Bernhardt, they questioned the timing she arrived at the school, as she initially gave detectives a different time. Bernhardt said she checked her Uber receipts before the trial, something she didn't think of at the time she spoke to investigators on the day of the incident. Perez also took the stand and offered a tear-filled testimony. She was the first person to find Chef Brophy. She was a student of Brophy's and had kind words about the type of instructor he was. She said he was a no-bullshiter, then apologized for cussing. He pushed us to our potential, and he was very caring in everything that he showed us and taught us. She said it was uncommon for the student entrance to be locked and that she had joined some of the students in waiting before getting a drink at Starbucks. And she also noticed that the garage door to the storeroom was open, a point that has been hit by the prosecution and state numerous times because it potentially offers an alternate way to get into the building, and that's where they believe that Nancy entered. She said students would never enter through there because it's an area only accessible with permission from instructors. She went inside and found that the coffee maker that was usually set up was not filled. Perez went into one of the kitchens to get water to start the large coffee pot and then saw Chef Brody on the floor. He was lying on the floor by the sink, she said, through tears. Yeah, it was a very emotional day. They were very emotional, but I think that's what they wanted people to see. She noted that one of the bench tables was askew, something that both the prosecution and the defense have asked multiple witnesses about. And they were showing these diagrams here. So the defense was questioning about the bench tables, which at least 2 witnesses have described as being askew when they came in to find Chef Brophy on the ground. Perez was a medical assistant in 2018. She checked to see if Brophy had any sort of response. Unsure if he had fallen or was in some sort of medical distress, she did not get a response and called for someone to call 911 before turning back to him and beginning chest compressions. She said after the paramedics came in, she knelt by the ovens and covered her ears. She doesn't remember who grabbed her. She said it was all a blur. During cross-examination, the defense asked Perez about homeless people under the bleachers of neighboring Lincoln High School. She said she remembered seeing a few of them sometimes, but she's never felt threatened by them. The state also called Craig Gall to the stand, and that's with Portland Fire and Rescue. Paramedics noted that Brophy was still warm and had no signs of rigor mortis or lividity when blood pools in a body part because the heart has stopped pumping for a long time, so they began resuscitation efforts. When removing Brophy's shirt, a paramedic noted a scratch on his chest. Gold explained that with gunshot wounds, sometimes the bullet will enter the body and the entry wound will close a little. When manipulating Brophy's body, paramedics found 2 shell casings. They told them a couple of things, that they needed to call the police and that Brophy's cardiac arrest was not a medical event. One of the paramedics had set a shell casing on one of the bench tables with some of Brophy's belongings, not understanding what it was at the time. The last witness, Tina Willard, a retired 28-year veteran, the Portland Police Bureau. At the time of the incident, she had been a criminalist, and this is the one that tried for the fingerprints, right? The defense asked Willard why she did not process the casings for touch DNA, a process where they swab the surface and send it to the state lab to be tested for DNA. Willard responded that in 2018, PPB was only processing guns collected at scenes for touch DNA, not gun casings. Not bullet casings, they mean. That's wrong. She explained it would have been against protocol at the time, and that processing for touch DNA could have potentially destroyed fingerprint evidence. Furthermore, she said that DNA from 2 casings may not have been enough to test. The state concluded by asking Willard whether she would have gotten in trouble for breaking protocol and swapping the casings for touch DNA, to which she said potentially, because it may have damaged the evidence for fingerprints. When asked if she would have processed the casings in a better way if she had known, she said yes. The court concluded early on Tuesday the medical examiner who responded to the Brophy scene was supposed to testify, but called the state's team and said that they were sick. The trial is going to continue tomorrow, and Deanne Brophy's mother is expected to testify. And those of you that can't find the trial, it's available on Court TV, but if you can't find it on Court TV, you can find it on kgw.com, kgw.com. All right, and that is about that for the trial. Let's see what's going on, and we have another live scheduled to talk about some other cases in the news, so we're going to go to pretty soon. I think it's at 11:45 we go to that. Let's see what's going on here. Beth, you must. I live an hour south from where this happened. Really? Do you remember it at the time? No, we don't have an auction tomorrow. Wait, Kevin, now you're freaking me out. No, it shouldn't be tomorrow. Oh, yeah. Wait, is tomorrow Wednesday? Oh, it is. Oh, I'm losing it. I'm losing it. You're right. You're right. I don't know. I don't know why. I think today is freaking Monday. Okay, never mind. It goes from Monday to Wednesday so darn quick. Did they recover the gun? Yes. They got the gun, but the slide that she used, that she purchased from eBay, they haven't found. So what they think is that she got the gun, took off the other piece, then bought a new piece on eBay so that it wouldn't match the gun she had. And somewhere they found a gun in a storage unit, but the slide in the chamber's gone. Was different, and so they don't know. They never recovered that. Okay, and she tried to buy a ghost gun kit, but couldn't put it together. Put that in a storage unit. So yeah, but they found the purchase on eBay of that piece. They just can't find it though. So tomorrow should be a good day with his mother testifying. And probably maybe the son too. Let's see if we can figure out. I wonder if she's going to testify. What do you think? You think she's going to testify? I don't know. So let's see here. She said that she purchased that stuff and the guns because she was doing research for a book she was writing, and it's not uncommon for authors to do this. Okay. And I believe they're going to the defense is going to bring in other witnesses, other people to testify who are writers that say they have ordered things so that they can be familiar with them for their stories. And apparently she has done this before with night vision goggles and things like that. So, yeah. Coffee. Yeah, Kevin, I was going to get myself a coffee too. Her mugshot is very scary. Her eyes. Could be right. She is evil, Beth Baker said. Hi, Linda Uribe. Yes, but it didn't seem it could have been fired. Bringing the ghost. Hi, Sally Steffens. One lady. Yes, brought a chastity belt. Correct. Mm-hmm. Yes, we went over that yesterday. She sounds like a crazy lady. Her poor hubby sounded very talented in the kitchen. Yeah, and they were married for quite a few years, and they never had any children together, but he had a child from another relationship, and that son is suing Nancy, the stepmother, for wrongful death suit for $1.5 million. You're listening, but you're... Oh, another explosion box? Good for you. Good for you. Yeah, she replaced the barrel and the slide, which she bought from eBay. And what they're saying is she shot the gun with the barrel and the slide, with the one she bought from eBay. Then after the murder, she put the original one back on the gun, okay? And then they've never found the one she bought from eBay. But by looking at it, it's consistent with the shell casings. Hi, Nona May. Oh, please don't make me start yawning now. I can't do this. But they knew. She went to a Portland Gun Expo show and purchased a gun, and she didn't deny purchasing the gun. She said her husband knew too that she purchased the gun, and she did it because of Parkland shootings and other shootings that were going on. They needed it for protection. She thinks she's so smart. Yeah, they all think they're so smart. They do. It's really a cool crime. Gotta go. But yeah, that's hi, Sean Sneed. Did anybody watch it or have anything else to add that you think that we needed to be said? Anybody? She's just smart enough to think she would get away with it, right, Elizabeth? Yeah. They always think they're smarter than the average bear. And after this, there's like 4 cases we're going to go over. So it's going to redirect you, Beth, since you've never been here. It's going to redirect you to the next video we're going to go to. So make sure you don't lose us. If for some reason it doesn't, make sure you come around and find us. The trials are back, yeah. And then we're going to look at Tony Tote's jury selection. I saw a little bit of Nicholas Cruz. When he walks in, he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" Like he's like looks like such a polite guy. When he walks in there, he's like, "Hello" to everybody. He's just walking right in, sitting down. And then I saw the judge asking somebody, you know, like, could you do the, yeah, it looked really weird. And she's like, you seem upset. Why are you upset? Yeah, Beth, it's going to take you to the other thing. Tony Tote is a moron. Tony Tote thinks he's going to get away with this by saying his wife did this. Is crazy. Absolutely crazy. We have 4 minutes. Hang on a minute. I'm just going to put on a cup of coffee because we have to go to the other live. And I just want to get that so we can start on time. I'll be right there. I mean, I'm right here. You can talk to me. Actually, well, I was going to say I had a little bit of coffee left. Maybe I should just heat this up. 1 second. Okay. I'll make a fresh cup because coffee's coming. Oh, the transportation is, don't worry about it, you'll be fine. I can hear you, Deborah. I really can't. I want to see the toad trial, you know. Right here, anybody, I'm right here. I haven't left you. I have not abandoned anyone. All right. Okay. I've got my coffee. And we're almost ready to go. Let me see. Oh, good. I'm doing good. I'm really doing good on time. I'm getting these trial recaps done on time. Hi, Davida. Oh, Davida, you don't hate me? Oh, I'm so happy Davida doesn't hate me. Thank you, Davida. I'm sure you look beautiful as well. Get back to your editing. I found your friend. The pink tree lady. I saw her making a putz house. I subscribed. Okay. She came up in my feed. You must have been watching her or something. Or maybe it was, I don't know, something I was looking at. I told some of the people come on over, but I don't see them yet. Sally, from where? Are you coming from Steph? Are you one of Stephanie's? Isn't that happy day, Joya? I called Davida Joya. Sorry, Davida, I called you Joya. Davita's not mad at me. She doesn't hate me anymore. She never hated me, maybe. Okay. All right, let me go. I have to redirect us, okay? We're going to go Beth and Steffi. It's going to take us to the other live, okay? Stay with us and come. It'll take you right around. Let me see which other live. It's going to be this one. All right, I'm going to end this, go to the next one.